7 p.m. and these are today's news. President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, presided over today a meeting of the Council of Ministers. Full details later on. Meeting of the A3+ group in Addis Ababa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs highlighted the necessity of unifying the joint efforts to preserve the African continent and defend the just causes, while urging the Libyan parties to stick to the path of reconciliation. Algerians and all around the world are commemorating the National Shahid Day, case in point in Paris, Canada, Spain and Italy, as we will see in this edition. Algeria submits a draft resolution at the UN Security Council concerning the situation in Palestine, while urging an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. All right, welcome back. First of all, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, presided over today a meeting of the Council of Ministers. The meeting focused on presentations regarding the special status and compensation plan for officials belonging to specific bodies within the national education sector and progress report on the digitization strategy. There are also discussions about the new mission of the so-called pilot farms, the water sector strategy for drinking water and wastewater, as well as an assessment of the situation in the run-up of the 2024 Hajj season. Manan Maafa with the full statement released by the Presidency of the Republic.
During the meeting, the agenda was presented, followed by a review of the government's activities over the past 2 weeks by the Prime Minister. The President of the Republic then issued orders, instructions and directives as follows. First, and regarding the presentation on the progress report of the digitization strategy, the President of the Republic emphasized the need for maximum speed in the digitization process, leading to comprehensive digitization across all sectors. The President instructed government ministers to expedite the digitization of data of each sector in preparation for technical groundwork and data localization. The President instructed the High Commissioner for Digitization to prepare a presentation for the Council of Ministers for approval regarding the contract with Huawei to establish an information storage center. Regarding the new mission of what was formerly known as pilot farms, the President decided to transform pilot farms into state-owned production units, specializing in 3 categories: legumes, oilseeds and oil trees. The President commended the efforts of specialists in the agriculture sector, emphasizing that they deserve credit for increasing and diversifying production and taking initiatives. The President stressed the need for a new mindset as a fundamental requirement for revolutionizing the agriculture sector. Specific goals were set with initiatives tailored to benefit newly graduated youth and those seeking success, especially in the legume sector. Encouragement was given to production units that have proven successful in developing agricultural activities and disseminating their model. The President ordered a complete departure from politicizing the sector and emphasized greater integration of technology rather than administrative and bureaucratic management. Third, and regarding their presentation on the fundamental law and compensation system for the education sector's special ranks, the head of state ordered the presentation to be postponed and further studied to improve its content beyond what is currently proposed, taking into consideration that teachers are educators before they are employees. Priorities were set based on a modern perspective to focus on qualitative training for future generations. The President directed further study of proposals that serve the education sector away from any forms of calculations outside the educational field. Regarding the presentation on the preparations for the 2024 Hajj or pilgrimage season, the President of the Republic instructed the Minister of Religious Affairs to prepare optimally for the Hajj season. In this context, the President decided that the state will provide, free of charge, transportation for our faithful pilgrims residing in the south to the airports for their departure. Regarding the strategy for the irrigation sector concerning drinking water and wastewater, the head of state ordered exceptional measures for the Buera province involving the commencement of well drilling and groundwater exploitation using the latest technologies and equipment for the first time since independence in this Berber region. The president ordered the acceleration of exploitation operations for new sources of groundwater in the Qatarani region of Bashar province to be exploitable by next summer. The president also instructed the minister of the sector to closely monitor the progress of seawater desalination plants nationwide, praising the progress made nationally in the percentage of treated wastewater. The Council of Ministers meeting then wound up with the approval of individual decisions, including appointments and the termination of duties in high-ranking positions in the state.
Algeria is commemorating the National Martyrs' Day, a day to renew gratitude to the millions of martyrs whose sacrifices made today's Algeria a free Algeria. On this occasion, the Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, held a meeting with the directors and representatives of national media, while stressing that the President of the Republic, who has fulfilled his 54 commitment, is guiding the country towards the right direction, an Algeria capable of facing regional and international challenges. The Speaker of the Council of the Nation highlighted the approach adopted by the President, which is based on involving everyone in the building of the sovereign Algeria in its political and economic decisions, despite all the attempts of hostile parties and entities to target the country. Let's have a listen.
We must remain faithful to our glorious history and loyal to those who sacrificed their lives for Algeria, because Algeria's place, its role, its reputation impose the respect. We must live up to this responsibility, as the President of the Republic said, because the first mission of the President is to refer to the principles of November the 1st and remain faithful to the memory of the martyrs. When we remember their sacrifices, we estimate our missions and our commitments at their fair value for Algeria, because the martyrs asked us to take care of our country. Long live Algeria.
The commemoration of the National Day of the Shaheed, a perfect occasion to remember the legacy of our martyrs. Gatherings of Algerians in France were organized but banned by the French authorities, a decision that says a lot about this position on such a memorable day. Afaf Belouchat and Yassine Hamdi.
Sunday morning, the French police mobilized impressive resources in Place de la Nation in Paris to keep the Algerians from commemorating an important day.
I
don't understand why they did this. They said that it's an order from the prefecture of Paris. I'm very disappointed. I woke up early and I came here and they cancelled the gathering.
The organizers of this gathering are still wondering why the French authorities took this decision despite having an authorization in the beginning. The police prefecture of Paris announced on its X account the ban of this event at 11 p.m.
It's an arbitrary decision. We wonder why the authorization was cancelled in the last second.
This decision didn't stop the Algerians to come from different cities. They were hoping that the appeal made by the organizers would be accepted.
As a Shaheed's grandson and Mujahid's son, I decided to come here whatever happens. Every commemoration is a bridge for transmitting history to the new generation. It's important for us to be here.
Flags in their hands, the participants were waiting for the approval of the administrative court. Unfortunately, they will be disappointed. At 2 p.m., the police started giving fines, 135 euros for each participant.
I came to take part to the gathering, but the police told me that I'll be fined if I participate.
The disappointment was bigger because of the hate calls of the far right and the nostalgic ones for the French Algeria on social media. Some of them distributed Éric Zemmour and Marion Le Pen leaflets in Place de la Nation. But the Algerians decided to answer in a democratic way by holding pictures of our glorious martyrs.
In Marseille, Algerians expressed with joy and excitement as well over such a memorable day. Many of all ages invaded the city. Same atmosphere in Italy, where members of our community settled abroad celebrated this historic day. Our fellow citizens also celebrated this day in Spain, where the sacrifices of our brave Shuhada are remembered with pride and dignity. In Canada, the commemoration was celebrated with the same enthusiasm by our nationals settled there, expressing the feeling of pride to belong to their mother country, Algeria. On the sidelines of the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the African Union held in Addis Ababa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, participated today in a ministerial meeting of the group of the African member states of the United Nations Security Council, which currently includes Algeria, Sierra Leone and Mozambique. The meeting was an opportunity to reiterate the commitment to continue coordinating and unifying the joint efforts to preserve the African continent and defend the just causes in Africa and in the world. The Palestinian cause was also tackled. The participants expressed their support for the draft resolution calling for the immediate ceasefire in Gaza. A draft UN resolution submitted by Algeria with the aim to activate the preventive measures decided by the International Court of Justice and stop the ongoing genocide. Attaf widely hailed the level reached in terms of cooperation and coordination between African countries within the UN. Let's have a listen.
Our meeting today constitutes a renewed opportunity to reaffirm the commitment to continue coordinating positions and unifying joint efforts for the purpose of preserving the interests of the African continent and defending various just causes in Africa and the world. Algeria highly appreciates the progress achieved on the path to strengthening coordination between African countries and enhancing their influence within this central United Nations body, and calls, by the way, for the need to maintain this momentum witnessed by joint African action in supporting just causes in the world, most notably the Palestinian issue and the issue of decolonization in Western Sahara.
In his speech, Ahmed Attaf also evoked the item concerning the Palestinian cause, where he stressed the critical situation in Gaza, which is enduring the worst inhuman atrocity ever, a Zionist plan to undermine the national Palestinian project. Thus, Algeria is calling upon the African countries to gather international diplomatic efforts to put an end to the Zionist plan and save the peace project in the region, and by this save humanity without any conditions. Adding that Algeria is joining its efforts to the South African one to achieve the objectives expected from this International Court of Justice. Referring to the item on the report of the African Union's High-Level Committee on Libya, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the representative of the President of the Republic praised the efforts deployed few days before the 37th Ordinary Session of the AU Assembly, as the Libyan parties had reached an agreement of holding the National Reconciliation Conference in Sirte next April. In this context, Algeria urges the Libyan parties to seize this opportunity and restore cohesion between Libyan people. Let's have a listen.
تشجع الجزائر ذات الأطراف الليبية وتدعوهم.
Algeria encourages the Libyan parties and calls on them to actively engage in forward efforts to provide the necessary conditions for organizing elections as a lasting and sustainable solution to the long-standing crisis in this brotherly country. My country renews its emphasis on the necessity of ending foreign interference and calls on foreign parties to remove their hands from Libya to enable African and international efforts alike integrate and converge in achieving the ultimate goal of enabling Libya to open up into a new era of security, safety, tranquility and prosperity.
Ahmed Attaf was received by the Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Mohamed Juldi Jallow. The two parties agreed to continue coordination within the Security Council and in the regional and international forums. The minister had also held bilateral talks with the Deputy Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Saleh Ahmed Jama, during which the two parties discussed strengthening bilateral relations and shared their insights on the current situation. The Foreign Affairs Minister had also talked with his counterpart from the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia as he congratulated him on his recent appointment at the head of his country's diplomacy. Attaf had also met with his counterpart from the Republic of Chad, Mohamed Salah al-Nadif, as they exchanged views on the latest developments in the political and security situation in the Saharan Sahel region. As mentioned earlier, Algeria has submitted a draft resolution at the UN Security Council concerning the situation in Palestine, while urging an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. This new resolution is to be put to a vote on Tuesday at the UNSC. An unbearable situation in Gaza as all means of survival are being demolished. The bombardments of the Zionist entity continue in the center and in the south of the enclave. The hospitals are being attacked and targeted as the Nasser hospital has been closed. Its patients and refugees have been forced to leave while the staff were taken as hostages.
The Nasser Hospital in Khan Younis, the second largest medical facility in the Gaza Strip, is no longer functional due to the siege of the Zionist occupation army for almost 2 months. It suffered numerous attacks and its medical staff and patients have been arrested. Today it was closed, leaving an entire region without any health infrastructure capable of caring for the injured. The Nasser Hospital in Gaza is no longer functioning after a week-long siege followed by an ongoing assault, wrote the head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, on the X platform, adding that at least 200 patients remain trapped inside the hospital and 20 of them need urgent treatment and referral to other medical centers. For his part, Ashraf al-Qudra, spokesman for the Palestinian Ministry of Health, said that the occupation forces had turned Nasser Hospital into a military barracks and put it out of service, moved out dozens of patients who were unable to move while at treatment beds, and then put them on the military beds, loaded them on trucks, and took them to an unknown destination, putting their lives in danger. The situation in Al Amal, a small hospital in Khan Younis run by the Palestinian Red Crescent Society, is also dire. The Zionist forces stormed the hospital in early February and arrested several patients and medical staff. According to Palestinian officials and the United Nations, only 14 of 36 hospitals in Gaza Strip were particularly functioning at the beginning of February, 9 of them in southern Gaza, including El Amal and Nasser. The Zionist forces' attack on Palestinian hospitals and medical services in Gaza Strip is a part of their overall campaign to expel Palestinians from the enclave. Meanwhile, the Zionist entity continues to expand its settlements on Palestinian lands in the West Bank and the occupied Al-Quds through new criminal plans that consist of arming and pushing settlers to deliberately attack Palestinians. On Sunday, dozens of heavily armed Zionist settlers stormed several Palestinian homes in the town of Turmos Aya, northeast of Ramallah. According to the local media, the Zionist entity is deliberately mobilizing its settlers with the aim of terrorizing Palestinians and urging them in vain to distance themselves from the people of Gaza and Rafah.
Economy now, and as the gas exporting countries summit will soon kick off, we're heading tonight to Skikda's refinery as we shed the light on security standards required in oil and gas sites. More requirements and standards in this topic.
An emergency call is launched by the monitoring room of the RA2K refinery in Skikda province. As soon as the alarm is triggered, the intervention group is already ready to intervene. In reality, this is a simple simulation exercise of extreme importance in this type of establishment to check the capacity of the intervention team, which is continuously put under the test.
We have 4 teams for intervention to ensure continuity of service, that is to say 24 hours a day, and the role is to intervene in case of the start of an incident, and for this there are simulation exercises which take place regularly during the whole year.
The emergency call was issued from this room, considered to be the nerve center of this refinery. Here, total control is carried out in real time in order to guarantee the safety of workers and machines in the production process.
This is the strategic room which controls and manages all the installations. At the level of this refinery, we work every day, 24 hours a day. A system 2 times 12, of course. Every 12 hours, there is a team that changes.
Securing refineries has always been at the heart of the Sonatrach Group's priorities, ensuring the safety of facility, personnel and the environment, a challenge met on a daily basis thanks to a proven security strategy.
To agriculture now, a pilot farm in Difla province is in good process and already has realized many of its objectives. This farm, located in Al Abadia, is specialized in both foods and cereal production.
Oranges and apples as far as the eye can see. We're in one of the largest farms in Al Abadia municipality in Ain Difla province, a region known for its green agricultural perimeter, specialized in fruit trees. This farm has a large sprinkler irrigation system and a fertile soil exploited with modern methods adopted. This pilot farm of more than 855 hectares shows satisfactory results in terms of both quantity and quality.
We have 2 types of citrus fruits, Thompson and Clementine, also peach trees. Our role here is to get fertilization, irrigation and treatment of the trees.
This pilot farm also produces cereals, another strategic plan that is experiencing real development and popularity in Ain Difla province, where more than 120 hectares are dedicated to this sector, aiming at contributing to food security in the region.
We have made another program to multiply the quantity of our production. As you can see, we have all the facilities we need to make it easier to succeed in this business. This project must be properly managed to ensure good quantity and even quality, which is the most important thing, so that the citizen can consume a healthy product. All the other areas, which are 75,000 hectares, are dedicated to cereals.
All the efforts deployed for this pilot farm have been able to transform a rocky land into a farm with orchards as far as the eye can see.
Morocco has recently multiplied the attacks against the UN Secretary General's personal envoy for Western Sahara, Staffan de Mistura, threatening to cut the ties with him. This was denounced by the Polisario Front's representative in Europe and at the United Nations. Albi Bushaya Bashir stressed that the Mahsen had realized that the UN envoy could not be controlled to its liking. The end of today's bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.